Om Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Krishno Rakshatu no Jagatraya Guruhu. Krishnam Namasyamyaham. Krishne Namarasyatravo Vinihataha. Krishnaya Tasmai Namaha. Krishnadeva Samuthitam Jagadidam. Krishnasya Dasosmyaham. Krishne Tishtati Vishwametadakhilam. He Krishna Samrakshamam. Jai Srimanarayana. With the blessings of Sri Chinna Jeeyar Swamiji, we are continuing Bhagavad Gita. We are in chapter 18. We finished up to sloka 37 in the last session. We'll continue with sloka 38. Okay. I'll share my screen. Okay. Please chant. Vishayendriya samyogat
Vishayendriya samyoga
yattadagre mrutopamam
yattadagre mruto
pariname vishamiva
pariname vishamiva
Tatsukham rajasam smrutam.
tatsukham rajasam smritam
Let's chant together.
Vishayendriya
Vishayendriyam yoga
samyoga yattadagre
tadagre
mruto
mrutopamam
pariname
praname
vishamiva
vishamiva
tatsukham
tatsukham
rajasam
rajasam
smritam.
smrutam. In the previous sloka, we learned about what is Sattvik happiness, right? So how does Sattvik happiness feel like? How is that happiness in the beginning, and how is that happiness in the end?
Initially, it will be like poison, but later on, once you get to the end,
Right, it will be like a nectar.
Like a nectar.
Initially, it is difficult for us to swallow, or it is painful for us to, or difficult for us to achieve that happiness. But once we start practicing, we will be that happiness will be like nectar at the end. Now, what is the practice that we need to do? Or what is that happiness coming out of? It is arising from Sattvic happiness arises from or due to
Atma Gnana.
Atma Jnana. So undisturbed, calm, state of knowledge of the self, right? So not like we may have sometimes, but other times we don't have. It's not like that. We are constantly having that Atma knowledge and practicing that. Based on that Atma knowledge only, we are doing anything in our life. So if we are consistently practicing the knowledge of the self, right, or consistently doing our activities based on the knowledge of the self, or putting that knowledge of the self into action, all are synonymous, right? Then that happiness that comes due to this, due to such practices, is like nectar. Initially, it is hard. It is difficult for us to practice. But once we continue to practice, then it will become easy for us. It will become nectar. No matter how much we experience it, it is not going to, we're not going to say it is sufficient, right? Now, in this sloka, in the next sloka, Lord Krishna is saying, Vishaya Indriya Samyogat Yat Tat Agre Amrita Upamam. Ettadagre amrutopamam means tat is happiness, that happiness, yat, which is agre amrutopamam, agre, in the beginning, or at the beginning, it is like nectar. Pariname vishamiva, which is like poison at the end. Okay, that's the opposite of sattvic happiness. Okay, and how does it? What is it due to? Vishaya Indriya Samyogat. It is due to the contact of the sense objects with the senses. Vishayas are objects of the senses are in contact with the Indriyas. So that's when we experience that pleasure, that happiness. So any happiness that we get due to the sensory, like our senses experiencing the sensory objects, right? All the materialistic pleasures that we get, those are like nectar in the beginning. And they are like poison at the end. Tat sukham rajasam smrutam. That happiness is remembered as Rajasik. Okay? So, so what are the senses that we have?
Jnanendriyas, karmendriyas.
And so here, the Jnanendriyas we're talking about. Karmendriyas are the ones that we use for action, but whatever we experience, the sensory objects are experienced through the Jnanendriyas. So the Jnanendriyas are
Eyes, nose,
Yes.
hearing, ears, and tongue, taste.
And yeah, skin, work.
skin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So ears, eyes, nose, tongue, and skin. So for each one of them, it is experiencing a particular sensory object, right? Eyes, we see the beauty of the nature, whatever we see, the beautiful objects. So whenever we see anything beautiful, we get happiness, right? Whenever we hear good music, melodious music, we get happiness. Whenever we smell something nice fragrance, we get happiness. Whenever we taste something that is really tasty, delicious, then we get happiness. And whenever we have physical comforts, for our skin and body, then also we get happiness. So this happiness that we get due to the sensory pleasures is called Rajasik, and they are like nectar in the beginning. Okay, and but as we continue to practice, it becomes like poison. Why does it become like poison?
Because of the rajas
The temporary happiness.
and the lack of Atma Gnana.
Right, but let's say somebody doesn't have Atma Jnana, doesn't care about Atma Jnana. Why experiencing sensory pleasures at a later time could become like poison for us?
As they improve karma, karma becomes krodha.
Jayata vishan pumsaha.
Okay. Yeah. So when do you experience, let's say you feel happiness with food. When do you experience that typically?
When you eat food, right? You like it, and right when you
Then yeah,
taste.
later on when you actually digesting, then you experience the problem.
So let's say somebody's really hungry, right?
Right.
When they eat food, they feel that
Happy.
happiness. But we ate a lot.
Then
Okay.
stomach pain.
That's
Then what happens? And we continue
then
to
actually,
eat.
yeah, we get displeasure. That's what you call I'm forgetting the word. So actually, it's like yeah, as we consume more and more, it actually becomes the negative
Poison, right? It
poison,
could even
poison
become
like
poison.
poison. Yes.
I mean, like if somebody takes a lot of water, they're feeling thirsty, then take little bit water, in right amounts is fine. Oh, water seems so good. Let me drink gallons of water. Water becomes poison. Even water can become poison for us. That is one.
Yes.
And then second thing is, so we, as we were discussing last time, right? Like initially, whenever we experience something new, we feel that pleasure. But over a period of time, that becomes normal for us, right? And then our senses want more and more. In order for us to keep up with that sensory pleasure, our senses want more, to
Yeah.
experience more.
Yeah.
And if you have to experience more, so if you are not able to experience more, then what happens?
Then it'll become
It's
angry.
law of diminishing marginal utility. That's what I was getting at.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will, even though it is pleasure, it is happiness in the beginning, the same as we continue to experience, it will feel more and more like pain. Um, right? So um, that is another, right? So it is a problem with all the sensory pleasures. Um, and of course, senses can never be fully satisfied, so that is another. So we may think that we will be satisfied with something, but it will never be satisfied. Uh, right? That is one of the reasons why even those who are really wealthy, really, powerful, really popular, famous people, if you see at the later stages of their life, if they continue to focus on getting happiness only through those pleasures, they end up being the most sad people.
In the
Right?
third chapter also it is said, Galan.
Depression.
Kamayesha, Krodhayesha, Rajoguna Samadbhava.
Yeah. Yes.
Desire is the main.
Mahasano Mahapapma. Yeah. So it is Mahasana. Like it will never be satisfied.
Yeah, the hunger can, it wants
Right.
more and more, and yeah.
So this is the Rajasik happiness. Okay. Ravana is an example. Yes. Yeah. He was never satisfied with what he had. Right. He always wanted more and more happiness, more and more sensory pleasures at the cost of doing something adharma. That is another thing. So the sensory pleasures may lead us into um, practices which are adharmic, because beyond a point of time, beyond a point, it becomes difficult for us to satisfy the senses with dharmic means, right? So somebody who is able to earn money with lawfully with dharma, right? They can only get to a certain extent, and let's say they're not happy with it. They want to increase. Then what they do? They end up with all kinds of Ponzi schemes and cheating. They they end up with adharmic means of getting that sensory pleasure. Those who are after money, after physical pleasures, beyond a point of let's say initially they are physically happy when they may be satisfied with the legal means of physical happiness. Then after some time they will turn into illegal means of getting physical happiness, taking all kinds of substances or things like that. So there are this is what we need to be watchful, like this happiness, sensory pleasure based sensory experiences based happiness is detrimental for us. That is Rajasic happiness. Okay. So now we know that why it is poison at the end, right? As we continue to experience that pleasure, it turns a poison for us. It is detrimental for us.
It also leads to decision, honestly.
Disease, unhappiness.
Yeah.
Right. In spiritual terms, like we end up getting a lot of karmic bondage, and we go downwards, right? Okay. Next sloka. Sloka 39. Sharing the screen. Please chant. Yadagre chanubandhe cha
Yadagre chanubandhe cha
sukham mohana matmanaha
sukham mohanamatmanaha
nidralasya pramadotham
nidralasya pramadotham
tattamasamudahrutam.
tattamasamudahrutam
Let's chant together. Edagre
yadagre
chanubandhe
chanubandhe cha sukham
sukham
mohanamatmanaha
mohanamatmanaha
nidralasya
nidralasya
pramadotham
pramadotham tattamasamudahrutam.
tattamasamudahrutam.
Lord Krishna is talking about what is tamasic happiness. Okay, in this sloka. Yet that happiness, which atmanaha mohanam, mohanam atmanaha, causes delusion to oneself. Atmanaha, to self. Mohanam causes delusion. Agre cha anubandhe cha. Agre at the beginning, cha is and anubandhe cha, and at the consequence or at the end. Okay. At the beginning and at the end, it causes delusion to oneself. Okay. And from what that happiness is arising, when it is arising due to nidralasya pramadotham. Uttam is it is arising. Nidra alasya pramada. Nidra is sleep. Alasya is laziness. Pramadam doesn't mean accident. Pramadam is inattention, lack of focus. Okay. So that happiness which is arising due to sleep, laziness, and lack of attention, lack of focus, it causes delusion to oneself at the beginning and at the end. Tatsukam tamasam udahrutam. That sukham, that happiness, is declared as tamasik. Okay. So it is arising out of delusion or ignorance, right? So the delusion, ignorance is the primary delusion that we have is
I'm the body.
I'm the body, right? So another delusion or ignorance is due to is
Yeah,
related to
I'm doing the work. And
our duties, right?
yeah.
So knowledge, work.
Everything, yeah.
So if I don't have the right knowledge, I will not be doing my duties properly. I will not be choosing my duties properly. I will choose the duties which are not my duties. I'll do the opposite. Yeah, fear. So basically the that nidra, alasya, pramada, the sleep, laziness, and lack of focus, lack of attention, are coming out of delusion, are due to the delusion. We saw when we learned about tamas guna, right? This nidra, alasya, and pramada, they arise due to the tamasic quality. Okay, tamas guna. Now, then whatever happiness that we get with these nidra, alasya, pramada, they again lead to delusion and ignorance. Okay. So there is no like it does not feel like nectar either at the beginning or at the end. Okay, it is the delusion that is causing that results in the nidra, alasya, pramada, and that happiness that we want to continue that state of nidra, alasya, pramada, then it strengthens our delusion further. So it is again leading to delusion. It is leading us to ignorance, and it is the worst thing that we can do in of the three, right? So the Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, in this three, Tamas is the worst, right? That gives us, when I say worst, it gives us the most negative results. Okay. It takes us down. We learn all that. So the happiness that comes out of nidra, alasya, pramada is the is the is the worst for us, or it impacts us the most in a negative way. So what is the happiness that we must prefer of the three?
Sattvik one, first one.
Sattvic happiness. Okay. So Lord Krishna talked about Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas categorization of various things so far, right? Does anyone remember what items or which ones that Lord Krishna categorized as Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas so far?
Yajna, tapa, dana.
Yes.
Those three.
Dhriti.
What is it?
Dhriti and
Dhriti, yes.
yeah, Sattvik, Rajasik, and Tamasik Dhriti.
Okay.
Work, karma, work, right? Work. The three things right there. Okay. The work, knowledge, and work, knowledge, and person.
The person, worker.
Worker, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Worker.
the person who is doing the work itself, and the knowledge behind the work are the three that are the three components of the work. Whenever some work is done, we need these three, right? So those three are categorized. What else are categorized?
And
Sattva, Rajasa.
Gnanam is also categorized. Right? Sattvik
Yeah.
Gnanam, Rajasik
Yeah.
Gnanam, and Tamasik Gnanam. So Gnanam
Yes.
and Dhruti, both.
Yeah.
Sukham.
In the last session, intellect, that is buddhi, buddhi and dhriti are categorized. Previous to that, the three components of work, that is work, worker, work, and the knowledge behind the work. Then in not any particular order, I'm just quoting. So Yajna, Dana, and Tapas were categorized. Then food is also categorized, right?
Yeah, right.
So far, so many are categorized. And finally, Lord Krishna categorized happiness.
Sukham.
Okay. So up to here, Lord Krishna categorized so many continuously, like from 17th chapter onwards. In 14th chapter, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga defined what are the three qualities, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, and what happens if we have them, right? And how we get attached to them, what happens if we get attached to them, and all that, right? And then 16th chapter, Daivasara Sampada Vibhaga Yoga, little bit, I mean, it's like, similar to the qualities that we learned. Daiva qualities are divided into Daiva and Asura qualities. 17th chapter onwards, so many categories. Yes, so many items he took and categorized them as Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. And finally ended with happiness. Okay, right? So let us look at the next sloka. Everything will become clear once we see them not as individual slokas but as a whole, right? And trying to like look at them as a whole and then get the combined knowledge that even feels much, the higher knowledge compared to just learning one sloka at a time. Okay, so next sloka. Please chant. न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा
न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा
दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः
दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः
सत्त्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं
सत्त्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं
यदेभिः sorry, यदेभिः स्यात्रिभिर्गुणैः
यद्धेभिः स्यात्रिभिर्गुणैः
न तदस्ति
न तदस्ति
वा
पृथिव्यां वा
दिवि
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 देवेषु
देवेषु
वा
वा पुनः
तत्त्वं
सत्त्वं
प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं
प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं
देभिः
यदेभिः
यदेभिः
स्यात्रिभिर्गुणैः
स्यात्रिभिर्गुणैः.
shade 39 and didn't shade 40 and sloka. Oh.
Oh. I didn't share the.
Yeah, I was shading 39, so that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. The font was also very small. I couldn't read. Yeah. Okay. So Lord Krishna is saying, after categorizing all as Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, he's saying, न तत् अस्ति पृथिव्यां वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः तत् सत्त्वं that being that which exists. Sattvam here is not the Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas guna. The meaning here, tat sattvam, that which exists, that being. any entity, any being, na asti, does not exist. Na tat asti, that does not exist. Yet ebhihi tribhihi gunaihi prakriti jaihi muktam syat. Those who are learning Sanskrit will be able to make sense here. Bihi, bihi, aihi, when it comes, right? It's Tritiya Vibhakti plural. Right. So Tritiya Vibhakti is with or by. Okay. So by ebhihi, by these. Okay. Tribhihi, by these three. Gunaihi, by these gunas, right? Prakriti jaihi, ja it means born out of, right? Prakriti jaihi, those that are born out of, okay? Prakriti. So that being which does not exist, which is muktam syat, which is freed by these three gunas which are born out of Prakriti. So what does that mean? No being exists in this universe which is not affected by these three gunas, which is not affected, I mean, which is not having these three gunas, right? No being in this universe is freed from the three gunas. Muktam is freed, liberated. Okay. Muktam ebihi tribihi gunaihi prakriti gunaihi. So these three gunas which are born out of Prakriti, right? No being is freed by these. Pradhivyam va, Pradhivi is earth, right? Pradhivyam is among the beings on this earth. Divi Deveshu, among the devatas in heaven. Divi is in heaven, Deveshu, among the devatas. So there is no being either on this earth or in devatas in heaven, among the devatas in heaven, who is freed from these three gunas. After explaining about Sattva, Rajas and Tamas for so long, Lord Krishna is saying, there's no one who is free from these three gunas. Everyone has a combination of these three gunas. Okay? So if we are not affected by these three gunas, if we are liberated from these three gunas, what happens?
Means we are with Paramatma, Mokshati, right?
We do not take birth. See, anyone who is taking birth here means they are having these three gunas, right? They're carrying the three gunas in some combination. Now, if I don't have these three gunas at all, which are born out of Prakriti, then I'm not going to take birth. So, I mean, 14th chapter he said that if we are not affected by or we are not attached to the effects of the three gunas, then we will be liberated. So, if we are affected by these three gunas, what happens? We take birth again.
Cycle, yeah.
Right? So, when we take birth again, we carry the tendencies of those three gunas. Whatever was dominating for us, we would take the next birth carrying those tendencies, isn't it? We learned about that also. Okay, so Deva Manisha Tiriyak Sthavaras. So Manisha Tiriyak Sthavaras are the ones that are on earth or the manifested universe that we can see, right? And the Deva is Devatas in heaven, Divi Deveshu or Prudhivyam, or among all beings on this earth. So all the four Varnas, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam, there is these four Varnas, the Deva Manisha Tiriyak Stavaras, are all taking birth along with these gunas, which are born out of the Prakriti. Okay, got it? So next, so let us recap. I'll try to share screen. Try to put together some points here, important to see, right? So let's recap that. So every being that takes birth on this earth or in heaven is influenced by all these three qualities, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Okay? All bodies are created using material nature, which has the three qualities, right? So any creature, whether it is Deva, Manushya, Tiryaka, Sthavara, is affected by these three qualities as long as they are taking birth in this samsara. Okay? Now, so why did Lord Krishna say this time? After saying all those things, and he said, okay, nobody is exception here, right? Um, of course, excluding Paramatma, who doesn't take birth with the karmic bondage, right? He explained that very clearly in 4th chapter. Everybody else apart from Paramatma is taking birth with the karmic, due to karmic bondage. Paramatma, when he takes the avatara in a form, that he is not taking birth like us, right? He differentiated himself already. So anyone who is taking birth, okay, will have sattva, rajas, and tamas qualities. So let us talk about human. So let's take only human category for analysis, right? We don't worry about devatas or tiryakas, stavaras. We know devatas are at a higher level compared to us. Tiryaks and stavaras are lower level compared to us, right? We don't need to worry about sattva, rajas, and tamas of those categories. Okay, so we are born with sattva, rajas, and tamas. So we may usually think I'm born in a particular family doing a particular profession. I will have only one quality and I will not be influenced by other two qualities. Incorrect. Okay. I should not be developing the other quality because it is against my nature or duty. Incorrect. I should have born differently in order to develop a quality like sattva. It is not for me. Incorrect. If God wanted me to be Sattvik, He would have made me take birth in a Sattvik family. Incorrect. Only rich people or upper class people in the society can have higher qualities like Sattva. Incorrect. Because I am rich or upper class, in the society, I always have sattvic quality no matter what I do, is also incorrect. Okay, so we have a certain tendency that we are born with, but it doesn't mean that we have to carry that affinity or tendency to a particular quality throughout our life, or it doesn't mean that we will not be changing, will not be able to change, right? So if I have if I'm born in a with let us say Rajasik tendency, can I acquire Sattvic tendencies?
Yes, you can.
Yes, right? Or Tamasik, I'm born into a Tamasic family. So-called Tamasic families are those who are doing the work that is more utilizing the qualities of a Tamasic person, right? Closer to a Tamasic qualities. Will I be able to change myself to a Rajasik or Sattvik? Yes. Or one who is born as Sattvik can go down to Rajasik and Tamasik also,
Yes.
right? All are possible. Okay. So Lord Krishna talked about Sattva, Rajas and Tamas qualities, and he asked Arjuna to be Sattvik, right? So it doesn't mean that we have to leave our jobs in whatever we are doing. We have to do them as Sattvik. We learned that about the worker, and the knowledge behind the work, Sattvik, Rajasik, Tamasik, right? So whatever we may be doing, we may be able to develop the quality of, Sattva. Okay, whatever activity we are doing, we can do that as Sattvik. Okay, now all of us can choose to develop either Sattva, Rajas, or Tamas. It's our choice. We do not need to take permission from anyone to choose Sattva, Rajas, or Tamas, especially Sattva, right? And develop Sattvic quality. All of us can develop Sattvic quality. We do not have to hate anyone who has Sattva quality as if they are privileged class in society. If one wants to develop Sattva, they are free to take it up without developing hatred on other people who belong to upper class in the society. See, this class, I'm talking in terms of the Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. We're not talking in terms of money or things like that, right? Or some perceived notion. So there is Sattvic class, Rajasic class, and Tamasic. Sattvic dominant class, Rajasic dominant class, and Tamasic dominant class. 100% it is going to be there because everyone who is born with have one or the other dominance, right? So we can always categorize as Sattva dominant, Rajasic dominant, or Tamasic dominant. Sattvic dominant people must continue to develop Sattva. Rajasic and Tamasic dominant people should go up, try to go up by developing Sattvic quality. Okay? So now the concept of happiness, right? So why did Lord Krishna ended the whole discussion with happiness? So before we started Bhagavad Gita, 2.5 years ago, I said, why Bhagavad Gita, right? If you ask somebody, what do you want in life?
Happiness.
Happiness, right? Simple thing. And that happiness, what kind of happiness you want? Happiness that is permanent, unlimited in the end, which is always like nectar. Okay? Or the happiness which is like nectar in the beginning, but becomes, leads to miseries in the end, or the happiness that is extreme suffering in the beginning and also in the end. Which one do you want?
First one.
The first one, right? So we want sattvic happiness. Okay. So people may think, oh, okay, I'm getting happiness with materialistic pleasures. Why do you have to think about anything else? This is the answer. It is it looks great in the beginning, but as time goes on in this life, and as you keep going from one life to another, it becomes more and more painful. So we want permanent happiness. We want unlimited happiness, right? So that is sattvic happiness. And sattvic happiness is born out of, it comes from knowledge of Atma,
Atma
right?
Gnana. Yeah.
So, and Rajasik happiness comes out of, we learned today, right? Vishayendriya Samyogat. So, the contact of senses with sensory pleasures, and Tamasic happiness from sleep, laziness, and lack of focus. Not doing our duties, what we are supposed to do, is Tamasic. Now, which one should we, Sattvic happiness? That means we need to develop Atma Jnana. And we need to practice Atma Jnana. We need to practice all the Sattvic principles. Like if you put in a matrix structure, um, all these different items, and then put Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas in three columns, and then put everything, whatever Lord Krishna said, we have to practice everything in that Sattvic column, right? And so in order for us to practice Atma Jnanam, we need Sattvic intellect, Sattvic determination. So that's what Lord Krishna mentioned, right? Otherwise, if our buddhi is not proper, we'll not choose Sattvic. We'll choose, if it is Rajasik buddhi, then we'll say, okay, I'll go with materialistic pleasures. It will lead to Rajasik happiness. So our buddhi, we should develop Sattvic buddhi. We should have Sattvic determination. Now, in order to achieve happiness, what kind of worker we should be? Like we all have to do some work, right, in our life. So we should be Sattvic worker. We need to, and he explained about how do we need to do the work, and Sattvic, knowledge about the work. Okay, what knowledge we need to have in order to support that work. What kind of work we need to do, and what kind of knowledge that should be supporting that work, and with what spirit we must do the activities, right? With what bhava spirit is tyaga or sannyasa. Lord Krishna explained about that. And there is a minor difference between these two. Sannyasa is not doing the activities which are purely for the sake of desires, satisfying our desires. I mean, giving up those activities which are purely satisfying our desires is sannyasa, and tyaga is sarva karma phala tyaga, palasanga katrutva tyaga is tyaga, right? So basically, put together these two is karma yoga, right? So we must do the activities with a detachment as nishkama karma, with tyaga or sannyasa. Now, what kind of activities we need to do? Yajna, dana, and tapas are the must for us. There are 5 types of yajnas, and tapas and dana. All these are explained sattvic yajna, sattvic tapas, sattvic dana, right? And in order to do any work, we must eat, right? We need to have energy. So for that, we need to eat. What kind of food we need to eat? he explained Sattvik food, right? So then behind all this, like what is the basic foundation on which we are choosing any of these paths?
Based on the samskaras, past samskaras.
Conviction. The conviction Lord Krishna talked about. That's the belief. So what is the with what conviction we need to do?
Okay. Conviction.
Right?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
Maybe Sankalpa also, maybe we can take little close word. So I want to, I have this conviction, I have this belief. Now I need to achieve, a particular state. With that belief, I'm going to proceed in this direction. So I must start eating sattvic food. I have to do whatever is prescribed for me, which is yajna, dana, and tapas. Again, sattvic yajna, sattvic dana, sattvic tapas. Then we know I have to be a sattvic worker, and I need to do sattvic work, and I need to do that work with sattvic jnana supporting it. Then I must develop sattvic intellect, and I must do this work with focus or with perseverance or with the willpower. That is the determination, or that is dhriti. So with what determination? I need to have sattvic determination. And if I'm doing that, as I developed Atma Jnanam, from that Atma Jnanam, finally I achieve the sattvic happiness, which is permanent, which is, um, unlimited, permanent, right? The most beneficial happiness for me. Not like materialistic pleasures, which are temporary, which will become like poison for me later. Or not like Tamasik happiness, which is being lazy. You may feel happy for some time, but yes, very soon it will become very painful, because we cannot sustain our body. We cannot, we'll be in trouble, immediately. Okay, so so we have to choose the sattvic. Okay, so we can choose if we want to develop sattva, rajas, or tamas. And Lord Krishna is advising, who follow the scriptures select the path of sattva. Right? Whoever is following the scripture, they will choose sattva. Do we want to follow this advice, or do whatever we want, in spite of everything that Lord Krishna explained?
Follow
We
that.
want to choose sattva, right?
Follow that advice.
Right. So we have to follow the scriptures. That is, whoever is following the scriptures, they are having the daivi qualities, and we develop the daivi qualities, and we need to do the work with daivi qualities also. So based on the choice we make, we become responsible for the consequences. So it is not Lord Krishna who is deciding with the bias. This person should become, Deva, this person should become Manusha, and Tiryak or Stava. Tiryak is animals, birds, and the Stavaras are like mountains, trees, and all that. So it's not Lord Krishna who is making the decision. Even within the human race, human, there are this. Everybody has these three qualities: Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas in different combinations. So somebody may have Sattvic dominant, they will be on the path towards liberation. Someone is on Rajasik dominance, they're in the middle, you know. They could easily move to Sattva, or they can fall down easily to Tamasik. And those who have Tamasic dominance, it is very difficult for them to move upwards. So it is our choice that, if I am choosing Sattva, I'll be good, I'll be better. I'm on the path towards getting Sattvik happiness, which is permanent. If I choose Rajasik or Tamasik, I'm going to either have temporary pleasures or no pleasures at all. And Lord Krishna mentioned in Sloka 18, chapter 14, those who are established in Sattva go upwards. Those who abide in Rajas stay in the middle. And those who have Tamas dominance, being engaged in inferior and despicable activities, go downwards. So if we are developing Sattva, we are on path towards going up. Going upward means not physically. It is going towards our goal, right? Towards our ultimate goal. Those who are in the middle those who are practicing Rajas or those who are Rajasic dominant will not reach. It's almost like waste of their life, as good as nothing. If somebody's Tamasic dominance, then they will fall down completely. It is the worst of the three. Okay. Got it? So we concluded Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. We talked about people who have these three qualities. One of them is going to be dominant. Now Lord Krishna is going to categorize people based on these gunas. Not because he wants to divide people, but these gunas automatically were born with one of the gunas being dominant. So the categories of the people are given, and the kind of work that is suitable for that kind of quality, right? So, if say, for example, the quality of knife is to cut, right? So it is suitable for a particular work, cutting wood or vegetables. You don't use a knife as an ornament or or a play toy, right? But there is another thing which is soft and looks beautiful, then we may use it as an ornament or a toy. We don't use it to cut. Okay, so based on the qualities of people, there are certain activities that are that they can perform um, with ease, right? Are more suitable for them. That's all Lord Krishna is saying. It is not to divide the people and all that. Okay, I'm saying that because some people may misunderstand it, so whoever may be trying to understand Bhagavad Gita and looking in a negative way, they may try to say, oh, what is all this division Lord Krishna is talking about? It is not about dividing people. It is about uh, categorizing people based on the tendencies that we may have, the gunas which are dominant for us, and what kind of activities that are suitable for each type of person, so that nobody is left behind. We and most important, I mean, we'll not be able to cover that sloka in today's session, but every person, irrespective of whatever they're doing, is eligible for liberation. Nobody needs to think, oh, I have Tamasic quality or I have Rajasic quality or Sattvic quality, I'm not eligible. Nobody needs to think that way. Whatever activities that people are doing, they're all eligible. Okay, so we'll look at this next sloka. Oh, I'm sharing, right? 41.
Yes, and sharing, India.
Okay, please chant. Brahmana Kshatriya Visham
Brahmana Kshatriya Visham
Sudranam Cha Parantapa
Sudranam cha parantapa
कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि
कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि
स्वभावप्रभवैर्गुणैः
स्वभावप्रभवैर्गुणैः
ब्राह्मणक्षत्रिय विष्णु शूद्राणां च
शूद्राणां च
परन्तप
परन्तप
कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि
प्रविभक्तानि
स्वभावप्रभवैर्गुणैः.
Lord Krishna is saying, Hey Parantapa, O Arjuna, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Visam, Sudranam cha Karmani Pravibhaktani. Karmani is plural of karma, that is works or duties. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Visam, Sudranam is of Nam. When it comes, it's of. So of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas and Sudras. So the works or the duties of these four categories of people, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Sudras, Pravibhaktani, they are distinctly assigned. Swabhava Prabhavair Gunaihi. Again, Gunaihi came, right? Prabhavaihi Gunaihi. So, Swabhava Prabhavair Gunaihi, with the qualities that arise from their Swabhava, from their inherent nature. Okay, Swabhava. My Swabhava is like this. I'm like this, like we may say, right? Somebody may be really, always jumping, angry, agitated, arrogant, shouting, that kind of. You say, why are you doing like that? I'm like this. My Swabhava is like this. I won't change. I cannot change. Or somebody is very calm, peaceful, they say, oh, wow, I'm like this, right? If you ask them to, start enjoying a party, go out and, enjoy, shout and all that, they will not be able to do, right? Somebody who is always sleepy and, just lying down and be happy with watching TV and just eating while, on sitting in a couch. Then if you ask that person to do anything else, they'll say, no, I'm like this, right? So there is there is inherent nature. Again, it's not that we are born with. So let me correct. So there is some inherent nature that we are carrying, the vasanas that we are inheriting, right? When we take birth, based on what we were doing in our past lives, we carry certain vasanas and tendencies, right? Ruchis and tendencies. So we are we are inherently carrying certain qualities. However, it is not necessary that we have to continue it that way. Okay, we have to keep that in mind, because somebody may choose to become lazy, and then they cannot blame. Oh, I'm carrying this quality with me. It's not. That is not. Basically, they chose that path because that is the independence that we got from Lord Krishna. And, so we have the choice to make. So we can choose Sattva, Rajasik, Tamas. If somebody chooses Tamas, it is their choice, not Lord Krishna's choice or somebody else's fault. Okay, so the duties, Lord Krishna is saying, the duties are assigned to these various categories of people, named them as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudras, based on their inherent qualities, inherent nature. Okay. So if one is, as I was saying, right, like if you try to use a knife to as a decoration, it is going to cut. It is not going to be beneficial for us. Or if somebody was using a flower to cut, you cannot cut it. Flower has its purpose, knife has its purpose. So as long as it is used for the right purpose, it does not matter what, it's not that knife is always greater than flower or flower is greater than knife, right? Both are having their own types of works that you can do with them. Okay, both are useful, right? So what is more beneficial for a particular type of people with certain qualities? That's what Lord Krishna is saying. Again, not to differentiate people, not to force the differences among people. Unfortunately, these were seen it the opposite. I mean, they try to use this as a way to divide people, but it is not to divide people. It is to assign the duties which are most suitable for each of these categories of people who have certain inherent tendencies. Now, what inherent tendencies that Brahmanas have? Um, they have more sattva dominant. Okay, so we are going to see more about their qualities and their practices. Lord Krishna is saying that I am assigning these duties. Not Lord Krishna assigning, but the Shastras, our scriptures have assigned the duties to each category of people. So Brahmanas are the category of people who has Sattva as dominant. Okay, their inherent nature. Okay. Kshatriyas, the Rajas is dominant compared to Sattva and Tamas. Vaishyas, the Tamas is little bit more dominant than Rajas and Sattva. And Sudras, Tamas is greatly dominant compared to Sattva and Rajas. Okay, so that is how they are born with, nothing wrong. That is a choice that they might have made in their previous lives. That's how they are born with, right? So each one of these categories of people, based on their gunas, based on their inherent nature, are assigned certain duties. What they are, we'll try to see. So far, easy to understand? Good?
Prasad garu,
Yes.
in chapter 4, right? Chaturvanya Maya Srishtam, right? Gunakarma Vibhagasaha, that's what they said here.
Yes.
Here, he also said guna only, but he used swabhava here. Right?
Yeah. Yes. So there is inherent nature that is based on the guna. Right? So that guna is supporting my quality, my nature. So my Rajas guna is supporting all the, um, what my behavior is going to be.
Right.
Right? What I like, what I do, how I do, all this is based on the Rajas. So my inherent nature is based on the Rajas dominance.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if my inherent nature is based on Sattva dominance, I will be doing in a particular way. I'll be having my behavior will be in certain way, right? So, for example, somebody who took alcohol, their behavior is going to be different compared to somebody who ate vegetables, isn't it?
Right. Right.
So so someone so imagine whatever was consumed by those people as like the previous life, let us say, you know. So someone just wakes up and then they start feeling dizzy, right?
Mm.
And then do activities like that. They'll say, "Oh, this is my inherent nature." I'm just trying to explain, give an example. So another person is took Sattvik food and they're very active. They're very they're focused. Their behavior is totally different from the guy who took alcohol the previous day, right? Both of them woke up the next day and they're behaving totally different. So the inherent nature is totally different. It is based on what they ate the previous night. Now, if we extend it to next life completely, so I'm born with this kind of inherent nature. Okay, and now if I had got that inherent nature, what should I do? Now, if you ask the person who is totally having lack of focus, ask that person to, let's say, drive a vehicle, will be disastrous, isn't it? You can't assign a driving job to someone who is, you know, uh, who took alcohol, right? So you don't assign certain types of jobs to a person who has certain inherent qualities, but they can be given some other tasks. So that's what I took that as an extreme example to say that one whose inherent nature is something, right? Is
Yes, sir.
Sattva dominant or Rajas dominant or Tamas dominant, and a combination of all these.
Right.
Based on that, they took birth. Now, once they take birth, they are
Yes.
carrying the tendency.
Right.
Is it possible to change? Yes. But it takes time. It is not going to happen just like I wish it, tomorrow I'll become Superman. I will not become, right? So these people also, because they're carrying those
Yes, sir.
vasanas and ruchis, tastes and tendencies
Right.
for a long time, it is not possible to just simply wish and then suddenly they change. They will have a lot of difficulty in doing certain tasks. So Lord Krishna is assigning certain practices, not Lord Krishna. Again, Lord Krishna is mentioning here, but this is what is in the
Yes.
scriptures. Certain practices are suitable for a Sattvik dominant person. Certain practices are suitable for a Rajasik dominant person. Nothing wrong with being Sattvik dominant or Rajasik dominant or Tamasic dominant, as long as they do their activities as Sattva, right? And they try to choose the path of Sattva. It is not as a. That's why I was saying that you can't say that, oh, I'm Sattvic dominant, I'll never become Rajasic or Tamasic. I mean, sorry, if I'm Tamasic dominant, I should not say, oh, I can never become Sattvic,
Okay.
or somebody is forcing these kind of activities to me.
Right.
It is not like that.
Agree. Correct.
Okay. So again, these they got blurred out because of lack of the practices. I mean, it was projected as something that is bad for the society. They are people started dividing, right? And they tried to say, anybody can do any kind of job, but the same person will not let a drunk person to drive the car, right? Isn't it? So how can they say anybody can do any kind of job? Or someone who wants to be lazy and just to sit on a sofa and then watch TV all day, you assign let's say emergency response activity. Unfortunately, Texas is in having floods. Such a lazy person, if you assign that kind of a job, the person won't do, will be sleeping, and everybody will die, right? So there is a the activities are assigned to people based on their qualities, right? So once they demonstrate that quality, which is either Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, there's no problem. But I can say that just by wishing, I want to do this Sattvik dominant activity just because I think it is cool, right? No, it will be a failure for that person. It is miserable actually. It is miserable for that person. It will be miserable for the society. Okay. At the same time, that person may say, "Oh, why are you preventing me from doing it? You are biased against me." No bias. Every activity is as important as any other activity. Every activity is equally valuable like any other activity, as long as that activity is done with sattva, right? As service to God and as karma yoga, we learned all that.
Okay.
So once they start developing that Atma Jnanam, they are on the path towards sattva, and then they can take up activities which are based on sattva, which are more suitable for a sattvic quality person to do. Okay. It's almost 9:30. So we'll conclude here. So we'll learn about the activities that are suitable for different categories of people based on their gunas. Based on their gunas, they took birth in a certain group, and that group is assigned the activities. So that's what Lord Krishna said. Guna karma vibhagasaha. So based on the guna, the next birth is determined, and based on that birth, karma is assigned, right? Because that karma is suitable for that particular guna. Doesn't mean that they are being punished. It is that activity which is assigned for that guna, for that person, that activity is performed as sattva, right? Being a sattvic worker, being with supported by sattvic knowledge, which is Atma Jnanam, right? If we are doing that, then we are moving. No matter what kind of activity do, we are moving towards the sattva, right? If we are assigned a sattvic looking activity, but that activity is done either as a Rajasik or Tamasik, then we are going downwards.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions? No? Thank you so much. I'll conclude. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणाय समर्पयामि. श्रीमन्नारायणाय समर्पयामि. सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु. ओम अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः.
Jai Shriman.
जय श्रीमन्नारायण. जय श्रीमन्नारायण.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.